Hey everyone, welcome to the August Cellar Club pickup party virtual. So I am Jennifer, the wine club manager, and this is
Chef Gabe, the restaurant chef, obviously at Terracer.
So we're very excited for y'all to join us, given with everything going on in today's world. We thought to bring a little fun and have a good time with you. So we are going to sample the wines with you that you hopefully all have at home. And we have the food prepared so we can work alongside with you to experience this wonderful event today. So let's get started. We're going to start with the first one, which is going to be our Eagles Landing Pinot Noir, our winemaker's own private label. We're really excited about this one. The cool thing about this 2018 vintage is it seems a little bit different in a wonderful way of Pinots. It's a little bolder, a little darker in color, you're going to notice, but it still holds those wonderful Pinot Noir flavors. So we're going to get started. Chef Gabe, if you want to hand over your glass, I'll get you going.
And I'm going to start with opening the bag and showing you guys meal prep and how to reheat it, okay? All right, so all of you guys should have got a bag just like this, right? So you have instructions and you have an inventory sheet. So you take off the inventory sheet and then look at your instructions. You see your instructions and inventory sheet. We're going to open up the bag. And we're going to put some things in order here just so we all know. Okay. So your mashed potatoes for your short rib. These are your duck and veal patties for the slider buns, green beans, fennel fries, our dessert, some more prep. All right, here we go. So dessert, we're gonna get to that last. I just want to organize everything for you guys so you guys see. Mashed potatoes. And let's open up this little box because this is some little sauce and fried onions for the short rib. So we have your first course, your second course, and your last course here. Okay, guys? So let's get started on how to reheat this stuff. As you can see, everything's in vacuum sealings. So these are reheatable, fully cooked duck and veal sausage patties, all right? So I'm going to put these in boiling water just to get them hot, all right? Now we're going to put all this stuff away and we're going to get back to it. All right. So first thing we're going to, I think there's some instructions that say preheat oven to 450 or 400 degrees. And what we're going to do is we're going to roast off these fennel fries. So all this is fennel that's been cut and vacuum sealed with a little bit of olive oil already. And we're just going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Right? Let's add another one just for Jen and I. And then we're just going to toss it lightly with a little salt and pepper. Put it on a sheet pan. Right. Perfect. Right. And then these you're going to stick in the oven for 7 minutes or until nice and golden brown. Okay, guys? So now that we have our patties reheating slowly, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these buns before we toast them. So they're nice little basic slider buns, right? Little knife, just cut them in half, right? So I'm just gonna set these aside because these are nice and warm already.
So how long do you think that we should have it in the boiling water for before they're ready?
If it's a simmer, no longer than like 4 minutes.
Okay.
It's fully cooked, so all you're doing is reheating it, essentially. Okay. So we're gonna toast just like making a little burger. Okay, guys. I got these cool little plates, and it was so nice. Jen comes to me and was like, "Babe, okay, I have a theme that we want to celebrate for the Cellar Club. It's summer. We wanted to play with this endless summer theme and 50s." So I was like, oh my God. So I could play with like 50s style food and be nostalgic, right? So first thing that came to mind was burger and fries. But how are we going to make burger and fries upscale? So when wine came into play, we're like, okay, we're going to have to create a different patty. We're going to have to create something special here. So hence the patty's made out of duck and bill. You know, the ketchup is made from a cherry ketchup, right? And the mustard was a whole nother play with green peppercorn, and it was all with the pairing of the wine. How does it work when we normally get together as a team, Jen? Well, I get these buns toasted.
Normally, I'm pretty organized. I like to plan everything in advance. So I plan for the next 6 months. I try to keep in mind, as some of you might know, I used to be your tasting room associate. So I listen to what you're saying and I take that feedback in. And even though now I'm the wine club manager, I still remember that. So I want to listen and hear and pick wines that I feel are diverse enough for everybody to enjoy a little bit of variety in it all. So the first one we picked was the Eagles Landing Pinot Noir. We picked it for the Duckfield slider. When I tried it seemed to have a lot of cherry notes to it. That's why I'm tipping my themes and I like to theme myself. So I'm wearing cherries today in honor for the Eagles Landing Pinot Noir. So that's when Gabe and I collaborate. I bring the wines to him. We sit down, bounce ideas off each other on foods. And then my inspiration will come from themes. We were talking along this year's themes. 2020 has kind of given us some difficult times. So we wanted to have fun, and summer is endless and wonderful here in California. So we decided to do retros 50s and have bright colors and bring them to you. So then Chef Gabe kind of throws his ideas out to us and we get super excited. We love our meetings together, and then he will go on and throw ideas back. And then he goes on to make the food that he's making right now, which should be almost ready.
Yeah, so as you can see, I just flipped over the buns. They're nice and golden brown. And all I did was brush them with a little bit of olive oil. Nothing crazy, right? So we got a nice toasted. Okay, and then here we're going to go. A little bit of this. All we got some nice, really good Dijon mustard. And then we season it with green peppercorn. Just because there's so much characteristics in wine. And like Jen said, the cherries is a big characteristic. So we wanted to play off that. So we put a little bit of green peppercorn, which I think it's not spicy enough as a black peppercorn, but it's more of like a fresh, cleaner flavor. And if you've ate here before, you guys know that there's a lot of fennel. So when we were thinking about it, we're like, okay, get some fennel fries in here in this mix too. So that was the whole premise with the fries. So as you can see, this water's still boiling. We're gonna pull these patties out. First thing you do is just put it in a little separate bowl because it is hot, right? So I got little scissors going on over here, right? Little tongs. We're gonna open these up, and I could film. You could see the steam coming off these. Fully cooked, nice and juice. And if you're familiar with sous vide, this could be also a little technique, and we could talk about that later, right? So patties there. Now, I didn't want to use regular lettuce. I wanted to use something with some texture. So what we have here is a little bit of cabbage and arugula. So a lot of the cooking that we've been doing at the restaurant lately is we've been trying to utilize what the farmer has. And believe it or not, he had some cabbage and some arugula. So that was the whole premise of making this mix. So tossing with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper again. Simple little toss. Right on top. Right on top. We're going to cover it. Top bun. And everyone got 2 of these, which I think is a great appetizer to start. Jen and I are splitting it just because we got a lot of meal to taste. Now, cherry ketchup, which has, if you guys have all the recipes for this, this is amazing. This is just getting the same ingredients that you would put in a normal ketchup and a substitution of tomatoes, we used cherries. Now we didn't use a tart cherry, we used more of a sweet cherry. So this little tomato ketchup here.
So how would we know the difference between a tart cherry and a sweet cherry when we're at the store?
Usually a dark cherry is like sweeter. It all depends, like a bean or something like that. And then usually a tart cherry, you'll see are like more reddish color. So these are little fennel fries. You can get like frozen cherries, but I think they underpick them, and it all depends. You'll taste them right away. Oh my God, this is sour.
Okay.
So we wanted to make sure we used a nice little bit of a sweet cherry to mimic ketchup. Don't get me wrong, tomatoes can be acidic, but we added a little acid to balance that out. So here you go, guys. This is our first course. So duck and veal slider with green peppercorn mustard, fennel fries, and a little bit of cherry ketchup.
Looks amazing. Thank you.
And then one more time, what wine did we pair with this? The Pinot, right?
We did. We did our winemaker's own Eagles Landing Pinot Noir 2018. So we are very excited about it. And I think we should start to dig in. But before I forget, I know y'all are getting ready to sit down and join this first course with us. We do have a summer promo that you want to stay tuned for until the very end. So I know you're at home and it might be a little busy with the kids, but this is worth it. Take time and we'll give you the promo at the end of our dining experience. All right.
I'm going to start with wine, but let's cheers first.
Cheers.
Cheers, Cellar Club.
All right. Cheers to you all too.
Oh, wow. 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 This is going to be, I'm like tasting
really
the flavors.
I'm salivating.
So I'm going to start with the fennel fries.
Okay.
Let's see how this
I'm
works.
going to follow your lead on this. Are we dipping the fennel fries in the cherry ketchup?
That's the only way to do it, right?
I'm thinking so. It's my first fennel fry experience.
Now, excuse me. If you guys were here, I would have totally fried these. So I had to think about concept wise, like, okay, how's our wine club gonna be able to recook this? So I came with the idea of roasting with a little bit of help from the crew. Okay. How we're gonna make this happen. But I think with the wine, it just goes perfect. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but there's so much characteristics, cherry and fennel and anise in here. I'm just getting from this Pinot. And usually with Pinot, I like to eat something rich.
You got it right on the head. It's nailing on that cherry flavor from the wine. It's really pulling it forward.
Okay, I'm going to dig in with the slider.
Very smooth. Okay, let's
dig in.
Let's get our hands dirty.
I'm hoping this works out. I'm hoping.
That is amazing. My first time ever having duck. Did you know that?
No way.
It was my very first time.
What do you think?
It's really, really good. I can't say it tastes like chicken, but it's definitely great. It's a little bold, and then the lightness of the veal. It's a really nice balance together.
Well, like veal is like our faux pork. So, and duck is really rich and fatty, and Pinot needs something rich and fatty. So that was the whole idea. And the mustard was just a little spice to kind of make a little zing. But
so why did you choose duck over, like, let's say you've done buffalo in the past?
Bison would be super, super lean. Okay. And the cut of, we actually use the whole duck. I butchered whole duck and ground them. And then we use veal rack at the top of the rack, which is to me like bacon. So we wanted to make sure that you had a nice when you reheated it. And we knew it was going to come out juicy. So hopefully it came out good, just like this for you guys. Now, second course. What are we working on that with the wine wise? So
I wanted to bring something from our single vineyard, and I brought the Rutherford Cabernet from Napa Valley. So this one is going to be bolder than the Pinot, as most cabs are, a little bit more acidic, still carrying on that cherry flavor profile. So this one is typically great with prime rib or prime rib kind of dishes, bolder dishes, bigger meat flavoring. So we definitely wanted to be able to pull have them complement one another. So when I introduced that and we tried it, your inspiration and creative wheels got going, and what did it lead to?
I know we were at first like going like, okay, we were torn because mine got like better and better as it sat. And hopefully you guys cracked it open, try to decanter it. These awesome little like flasks are amazing. I wish we sold it like this.
It's not cologne, it's wine.
We're like, let's stick with the themes of 50s. And I was like, okay, pot roast, you know, something you see at a diner. And I was like, okay, great. Like, but how can we elevate it? So we're messing with already short ribs that are coming on the menu for dinner. So we did smoked short rib for you guys. And I was super excited because we got it. We nailed it perfect. So hopefully you guys have your water one, and then we can get it going. And I'll show you how we did it. All right. So now I'll do it a little bit slower just so we can see it all plated together. All right, guys. Now follow me one more time. Okay. So we have our short rib, we have our green beans, and we have our mashed potatoes. We have our crispy onions, and we have our wine glaze. Now, again, when we're tasting the wine, we were like, okay, we have so many characteristics that we can play off. So this blackberry was steeped in red wine, and then the recipes with you, we did some sugar, and we just reduced, and then strained. And I think it was a perfect glaze to accent the smokiness of the short ribs. So you can see, guys, it's all vac packed and fully cooked, and then there's a slight little smoke ring. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add these to the boiling water again. You can see it's not boiling, it's more of like a simmer. And then we're gonna add our mashed potatoes. And then the top, we're gonna put the green beans. Why? Because the green beans only cook for about 2 minutes. Okay, so let's get them boiling. Now, the plate, you guys can use any plate. I would reheat it just a little bit in the oven if you like. Once these are pulled out, our sauce right here. Now, Jen, I know this was an idea of meeting of the minds of doing this Zoom thing, but I'd love to do it again. I don't know how you feel about it.
I totally want to do it again. I love having themes and having fun, and you know, it's crazy time. So why not bring a little fun and joy? So I'm down.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have to stay tuned. I think this might be the new norm with us, where you're going to see kitschy themes going on. So if you want to know, every month, even though you're in different wine clubs, you can still interact in each other's parties because we want you to introduce each other. So Gabe is going to continue on with that. And also, by the way, guys, be sure to ask us questions too. It's not just me asking questions. This is an interactive feed. So be sure to ask questions away. You know, if you have questions about how Gabe is prepping something or questions for me, feel free to ask.
So I'm just stirring the pot a little bit, guys. And it's so awesome that, you know, Terracer is a big part of Herzog Wine Cellars. And I'm allowed to create and have fun. And you guys, like I've told you guys before the wine club, you guys get to experiment. We're always trying to just be something different, move forward. So if you guys have any ideas, just like Jen said, don't be afraid to ask. Like the cool thing about this, out of all the wine club events I've done, I don't think I've done recipes for you.
No,
but this one we did, right?
Yeah.
So
just
hopefully,
because we had to.
Yeah, and hopefully we can continue that. And it, you know, I try to make the recipes, you know, believe it or not, the smoked short rib is an insane recipe. So if you don't have a smoker per se, please shoot me an email and I can give you some advice you any way I can of how to substitute a smoker for that. But we wanted to have something special for you guys. So we wanted to really, like, you know, go outside the box. So at the same time, to me, smoking has a lot of attention to detail. So almost there with the green beans. And then we want to make sure everything's nice and warm. So great. Oh, potatoes are nice and hot. I'm gonna pull these out, guys, real quick. And we're gonna plate our green beans right now. Our potatoes. All right, guys, here's the green beans out. Okay, let's get these open. The wine.
The wine. What specifically about the wines are you wanting to learn more about? If you're wanting to know the selection, we were excited to kind of have more exclusive wines for the Cellar Club, like a single vineyard or our winemakers private label. Cellar Club members are members that for wines that we make here on the actual premises. And then we were super excited about Z4. So Z4 is new. This is the one that's actually kind of led the pack for all the other wines to follow. So if there's a more specific wine question about an individual wine, ask away. So the Rutherford for this course, I chose, if there's a more specific wine question about an individual wine, ask away. So the Rutherford for this course, I chose because kind of the middle value between the Pinot Noir and a Zinfandel. It's a Cabernet, so it's going to have its bold flavors. This one in particular, coming from the Napa region, has some volcanic deposits in the soil, so it's going to give you that black currant flavor, heavier in tannins, the way Cabernets do. So I thought it would be the perfect for in the middle one is a Zinfandel. We'll continue on talking about Zinfandels are big. So I like to do them in progression from light to get your palate acclimated to big and bold in the end.
And when you said about the Rutherford and you said about the black currant, right away when we were tasting the wine, I was like, okay, it's got to have some kind of fruit. So that's why we're talking about blackberry on the glaze, right?
Yeah.
So we did the mashed potatoes, guys. Got the green beans. Now we were generous with green beans, so you guys don't have to plate all of them if you like. If you do, it's okay. All right, now short rib. You can see it's nice and hot. Perfect simmer. It's only been there for about 3-4 minutes. Here we go.
Don't be shy, guys. Ask questions. We want to get your feedback in here.
You can see here's your short rib. Look at that smoke line. Look at that.
So you put it in the smoker and
so
then...
the way we did it, we smoked it for 5 hours straight, and then we wrapped them for another 3 hours until internal temp was 190. 190 was when we wrapped, and then we made sure we cooked it all the way to about 200, 210. And then we let it cool, and then we cut them and put them in vacuum sealed bags for the guests to just reheat, because it's really easy to overheat, overcook short ribs, and I didn't want it to fall apart. I wanted it to cut like a steak or a roast. When we were talking about ideas, they were like, oh, prime rib would have been perfect with this wine. But how are we going to send prime rib home? That was like my whole idea. So this is our little blackberry glaze. I'm going to pour it right on top and a little bit on the plate. And of course, we gave you a little extra, well, 2 ounces, but you just need enough to coat the rib and a little bit on the plate, right? And then we did some crispy onions with just some flour and some cornstarch, just to have a texture element to it. I don't know, Jen. I think this is a good one.
I'm
Hopefully you guys at home
are
are enjoying as well with us. Yes, great question. So you want to make sure at the 5th hour, once it hits 190 internal temp. Here we go, Jen.
Oh, that looks amazing.
This one for me.
I'm excited.
So after it hits 190, you wrap it and put it back in the oven for another 2 to 3 hours, as long as you get 200 degrees, guys. And then you pull it out and let it rest for about 5 minutes before you even cut into it. Hopefully I answer your question.
But that's if they wanted to do it from the very beginning, the way you did it. For this, they just need to put it in the
sous vide boil, just to reheat.
So, all right.
So let's cheers again.
Hopefully you guys are keeping along. And if we're going a little too fast, definitely slow us down and ask for repeat on how to cook anything or what the wine is. So what do you think of this one, Gabe?
That is really good. I think the progressions you chose were like perfect.
This one's very smooth, velvety.
Smooth. The Pinot had a little pucker to it, and that's why it was like with the cherry, it was kind of like cool, right, in the fennel. Yeah. But this is just smooth. It reminds me of these mashed potatoes, nice and soft.
I'm excited.
Let's give it a little try.
Which one do you recommend first? Should we just go healthy, do the green beans? Or
I'm
just
going
go big?
straight into the short rib.
Big.
It's like, look, you can totally see it just slices with.
Savor the flavor longer. All right.
Right.
But there's a little caramel. I'm getting some caramel.
The caramel you're going to get from the wine. Exactly. I was just going to say that. And actually, you're going to get that nice bark from the smoke. And we just seasoned actually the short rib with salt, pepper, and onion powder, garlic powder, I believe. And it was just real simple. Usually, sometimes we add sugar to our things, but it can get over caramelized on the smoke.
Okay.
And I wanted to taste more meat and smoke only.
It totally does. You nailed it.
Perfect
Pairing with this. I'm really excited on it.
Wow, the wine just kind of just makes everything nice and smooth and mellow together.
Makes me feel like I'm back home in the Midwest. Like a good stick to the ribs kind of meal.
Nice. But I think this is like perfect. And end of summer, kind of like getting ready for fall.
Mm-hmm.
We just started harvest here. So like right away when I hear harvest, I'm starting to think pumpkins, the menu's going to change, stuff like peppers. So it's like, okay, we got to bring some of these stick to the bones dish. I hope everyone's short rib at home came out right. Enjoying.
That is incredible.
What do you think?
I think this one, loved it, the first one, but this one makes me think of home.
That's awesome.
So this one's hitting in a good chord. I mean, they all do, but this one is kind of talking to me.
I think too, just like you said about what's going on in the world right now, I think everyone needs something like this, a little taste of home. So hopefully we're doing that for you guys.
Yeah.
And I think with the pairing, we got a little ambitious too. Talk to me about the dessert.
So we're in America. I mean, we gotta have an American type of pie. So
you guys, they want to know if the fire's affected great this year.
From what I understand, yes.
We're a little bit, a little bit on some of our grapes.
Some of our grapes, we've been like literally right next to the fire. I think from the boss upstairs showed me a couple photos from some of our property, and it's pretty scary what's happening out there. And our heart goes out to everyone who's affected up there.
California. Hopefully you're all safe.
Yeah, usually like it's weird when you start working here so long and you work in this industry, especially the wine industry, every harvest counts. You start going like, you remember each year, like, was there rain that year? Was it a dry spell that year? And it's weird that we're talking about fires being one of those things.
Yeah.
But yes, most definitely it did affect some of our winery. And
I don't think it affected the actual vines. I think it was more the hillsides, but the smoke might have.
The smoke. And that's a thing, actually. Yeah. It's really crazy.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody's safe. You know, secondary, hopefully the grapes and the vineyards are safe too.
And the great thing is like the Herzogs have a wide selection of in so many different regions in California. So you guys get the benefit from that.
Yeah. So dessert.
Let's talk about
American pie. So,
American pie, right?
Gotta go peaches. You know, I mean, we just had this prime rib, which is kind of a big dish. So let's go light and fluffy. And we thought since the Zinfandel was such a big red, Zins are known to typically be peppery, especially from the Lodi region. This one is a little bit different in an amazing way. It is that big, bold Zinfandel red. So we wanted to kind of break the norm. Normally you think white wines are maybe a sweet wine with a dessert. We don't like to be typical here. We want to branch you out, explore new wines, new flavors. So we went for a nice light peach pie and we paired it with our Zinfandel. So
which I thought was a brilliant idea. Not only because right away we're gonna do late harvest or some kind of like there's every once in a while I'll drink a Chenin Blanc for dessert. Right. But when you poured the Zinfandel, it was like, all right, cool. Like we got to have some fun with it. Yeah. So I was
especially
really
since
stoked.
It's brand new too.
Yeah.
So this is our first of the Z4. We've had previous years Z3 and Z2, but this is the first year of Z4.
So I have an idea.
Okay.
Let's make this dessert in the kitchen. Are you game for that?
Yeah.
All right, so
why not?
Let's take you guys over here.
So you can see the space
and let's see what's going on. Let's see. Hopefully everyone's being behave. Careful over here.
All right.
Little step over here.
Okay, we gotta maintain our 6 feet still.
All right.
So we're gonna.
This is so cool, right?
We're gonna. I'm excited. I don't get to go in the kitchen very often, so I'm kind of, in the front of the house.
As you can see, it's like COVID kitchen.
So the restaurant's here.
You remember?
Oh, we closed the curtain.
Sorry. Remember how this place looked, guys? Check this out, right?
So
Still cooking.
a little different, still there.
Still cooking. Back in the kitchen.
Going into the kitchen, corner.
Little kitchen.
We're saying that so we don't run into people. That's why we say corner.
So as you can see, usually your guys, if you come eat in the restaurants, this is our garde manger station. So appetizers and desserts come off the station. Say hi, girls. Say hi. Gentlemen, sorry. But here we go. Let's start with some dessert. So we have a little pie, peach pie that we made. I can't take too much credit for it, just because my pastry chef was amazing, Leah Lopez.
She is exceptional with her desserts. She's magic out. I don't know how she does it.
We got some beautiful pie crust and cream pie, which is super on trend right now. And I love crumble, so I love texture. So we just did a little bit of macerated peaches, and she keeps it simple, classic flavors, just for you guys. Now at home, you can eat it just like that. We decided just to reheat it, just so we get some nice perfume going on, right? So, little pie.
Where did you get the peaches from?
Actually, these are also up north from
Okay.
Follow. Hog Follow Farms.
All right. Shout out to the Hog Follow Farms.
These are just a little bit not very good. Here we go. Just a nice look now. Now, you guys at home, I wouldn't be mad at you if you put a little bit of ice cream. Been okay. Or non-dairy ice cream, that would have been okay. But each his own. A little a la mode, that would have been super 50s, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
All right. Let me lead the way. Let's go back to eat. Right behind, guys.
check it out.
All right.
There you go. Thank you, Jim.
Sure. There you go.
There you go. Thank you. So great.
Get to see in the kitchen behind the scenes a little bit.
There's David, our tech guy.
Oh, yeah.
Say hi, David.
Shout out to David and Jonathan.
Good, Jonathan. Ooh, careful,
course, it wouldn't be me without
careful,
trying to
careful. Here we go.
So let's get this Zinfandel going. Grab
Let's
your
see, this one's
glass,
prettier.
Gabe.
This one's prettier for you. Here you go.
All right. This is Zinfandel.
I don't know if we got any more questions. Did we get any more questions, David?
Yeah, don't be shy, guys.
Yeah.
Start asking us questions. You know, we want to evolve this, so we can't do it without you. So help us along. All right.
So, cheers one more time. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Gabe. It's always fun doing this with you.
I know it's like a little bit of how do you say, a little break from the monotony of the mac, but fun there too. I don't know what you guys think. So
that was totally cool. Definitely.
Well, cheers. Let's
All
try
right.
this wine. Oh wow.
Definitely the biggest of the three for me. What do you think?
I'm thinking peaches right now, and it's like I bit into a perfectly ripe peach. Some peaches have that tart and that sweetness, perfect balance. I'm just perfect pairing.
Well, let's not talk about tasting peaches. Let's taste some peaches.
Pairing.
Well, let's not talk about tasting peaches. Let's taste some peaches.
Oh,
All right.
wow. I would to get to dessert, honestly.
So that's why.
I could
So
forget
ask
about all the other
questions if you're all still cooking.
We should have started with dessert stuff. Oh wow. Wow. Wow, Leah. I can't believe this crust is amazing.
If she wasn't so shy, we'd have her come out and do a shout out to y'all too. Maybe in the future. parties.
Eventually, we'll catch her in the kitchen.
Yeah.
David Weiner wants to know how they should analyze the food and wine pairings.
Analyze. Wow. Getting real detailed. Be an engineer?
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
I think go with your gut.
The whole thing was we wanted to make sure that everyone's having fun. And honestly, you can play with the wines with each course.
Mhm.
But
There's no right or wrong, I think, with trying wine with foods. I mean, you might try a wine that doesn't pair well with the food and not really like it. But at least now you know you're not going to do that again. So, and you never know. You might be pleasantly surprised, like a Z4 with a peach pie. How many of you would have thought to do that? I know I wouldn't, but his mind is super creative and he went there with it.
Yeah, it's all about having fun, guys. It's all about having. If you ain't having fun, you're taking life way too serious. But like I said, honestly, if we didn't have Zinfandel, we'd probably be drinking whiskey right now. Because I think
It's
whiskey
true.
and pie goes great together as well.
That is true.
But that's
That
just
is true.
crazy.
I do like a good scotch and whiskey.
So yeah, I mean,
What do you guys mean when you say it's the biggest pairing?
the biggest pairing was with the wine. I think the wine and the biggest pairing out of all three of them.
Just what does it mean when you say it's the biggest? That's what David.
The biggest with the Z4.
Oh.
So for me, out of the three, and this is my own personal palate, I thought the Z4 Zinfandel was the boldest, heaviest wine.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it last. Didn't want to shock everybody's palate. So I went with a nice light wine such as a Pinot, and then worked my way into the biggest wine, which was the Zinfandel. So, and then we wanted to counterbalance the big wine with something nice, light, and fun, like a peach pie.
Perfect. Exactly. And that's how we play with food sometimes. Like sometimes acid can overkill a wine, a really good wine. So it's got to find that right balance too of like, what are you pairing with, and use natural ingredients to kind of like enhance, or at the same time, balance out the wine.
Which I think this does beautifully.
I think so too.
Definitely does it beautifully.
The peaches kind of just perfume it and take it to a different level.
Yeah, for sure. So we're waiting for more questions. So
When can we ship food to the East Coast?
Sorry, East Coast. You guys got recipes? Like I said, any questions, please try to reach out. But I wish we can do that. Something like maybe like a kosher, like what's that, blue ribbon or blue something?
Yeah, maybe
that would be amazing.
A delivery service. I mean, who knows? You know, we didn't think we would do virtual pickup parties.
Not at all.
Here we are doing that. So you never know. But in the meantime, we will be always happy to tell you the foods to get and to send you all the recipes.
And you're more than welcome to come out here if you can avoid the quarantine deal. But we'll feed you.
Yes, well fed and wonderful wine. So I also want to mention, for those of you who stayed tuned to the end, the promo code. So because you all joined us for this virtual pickup party, we thought, why not have fun, give you guys some fun. We are doing a 25% discount for those who've watched this evening. Normally you get 25% if you purchase like a second entire bundle, but you needed to purchase the bundle to get 25%. Not anymore for this until Friday. If you type in summer at herzogwine.com as your promo code, you can pick any of these wines individually from the shipments. And it's only a one-time use, so I would stock up now, honestly. If you
Pinot.
Tonight, loving the Pinot, you can get 6 Pinot, 25%. So that is good until this Friday, and it is only for these three wines. Again, the promo code, summer, herzogwine.com.
All right, more questions.
All right.
Brandon Wyatt wants to know, tell me how the ribs got charred on the outside but not burned. It's incredible.
It's so funny because I'm still learning how to smoke. So it's a really tough question to answer. So it's just monitoring the fire. We never got the fire past 270. And when you burn the embers, we burn the wood, right? We burn it in a separate pit. Just so, because you want to make sure you have clear smoke. And when you have clear smoke, you're not going to have tampered flavor. You're going to have the pure flavor of mesquite or oak, which we use. So you got to make sure that all the bark is off the wood before you put it in there, and just maintain that heat. So you just want to have that nice, good golden color. We spritzed it midway too. We spritzed it the third hour with just an apple and water wash. And then we spritzed it right before we wrapped it. So maybe you got a little bit of the caramelization from the apple juice. But that was a technique that I stole from a cousin of mine, actually, Chubbs, and he does barbecue at home. So I was like, hey, what do you spray on your ribs? Because you get this beautiful color. And he just gave me a little secret, but it wasn't anything major. Hopefully that answers your question.
And hi, Brandon and Fabiola. I hope you both are doing well.
David Weiner wants to know, what dairy foods do these wines pair with?
David Weiner's already asked too many questions. I'm sorry. No, I'm just like,
I love the enthusiasm.
Dairy foods. Wow. Oh. Man. Okay, with a Pinot, you can go super rich. Like, I would go like mushroom, cheeses. Ravioli, cream sauce. That's just a cliche kind of like thing. But yeah, you can. It all depends. You know what I mean? It's so sad that I can't come up with a reason for that, because I don't really cook too much dairy. But I use dairy in subtle little elements. Like if I were to put dairy on the short rib, it would probably be in the mashed potatoes, some cream, you know.
So then Rutherford might be,
Rutherford.
if you were comparing it to tonight's dishes with dairy, like in mashed potatoes or in the pie.
Yeah, in the pie would be, of course, butter with this Zinfandel would go great in the pie crust. You would taste that, of course. And vanilla ice cream, of course, you're going to have that cream note. So it might have a different feel on your tongue. It all depends. You know, I would really have to give it some thought. Hopefully, David, I can give you a shout out later.
David, I just pair everything with cheese. I love cheese. I'm Dutch. It's cheese and nuts and dried fruits, and then whatever Chef Gabe throws my way.
Tara Evan loves the idea of rewarming food and wants to know if it's okay to use the same temp for all types of food.
Same temp in what sense? I'm not sure exactly.
For the vacuum seal bags.
The vacuum seal bags. Okay, so when it comes to that, it all depends on what you're trying to reheat. You know, exactly, I think for boiling water is 2 something. What's boiling water?
It's like 212 or something.
212. So if, for instance, we put those hamburger patties in boiling water and we left them in there for more than 5-6 minutes, they would overcook. So you got to be, when it comes to reheating, I like to go 60 C. I'm sorry, I know Celsius more than I know Fahrenheit. 60 C to about 64 C for no longer than at least 6 to 10 minutes. The reason why is because it'll start to continue to cook. Now the braised item, so the higher the temp, it'll keep cooking and start falling apart eventually. So around 60 C is a good kind of temperature zone, 60 to 64 Z, to keep things warm at just the right temp. Hopefully that helps. Sorry.
Okay. Brandon Wyatt wants to know if you should open a bottle of Bartonera for dessert.
Bartonera.
After the pie. Have it by itself. Bartonera is dessert in and of itself type of wine. So go big with the Zinfandel. If you want a second piece of pie, then I would say do the Bartonera, but finish the Zinfandel first. Would be me, Chef Gabe. I don't know.
No, I've been sprung on Bartonera, and I'm not going to lie. So, I've been drinking a lot of Moscato at home. So.
Yeah.
And that's usually my first course. So.
Yeah. It's a pretty amazing wine. So I hope y'all had such a good time. I know Chef Gabe and I did. This is my first time on film, so I thank y'all for your patience, and hopefully I did okay. And Chef Gabe's been great next to me. I know he's kind of a little bit more of a pro behind on the camera. So thank you all for joining us this evening. Keep looking online. Keep looking at those emails all the way through. Scroll all the way through on those emails. Look at them. See what the future might hold. You never know what we're going to do. But we will always do wine clubs. We will always find a way to get a party, food, and wine to you. And I'll always find a way to theme something. So stay tuned.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.